York threatens to sue other states for selling ammo to New York residents. Behind the scenes in Biden's border disaster, and Democrat squad member Cori Bush steals campaign funds. This is the Loaded Mic, and I'm Dan Was. Albany Democrats are at it again with a new list of gun restrictions for New York gun owners. Two new bills have been introduced, Assembly Bill 3855 and Senate Bill 5763. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts of this new attack on our Bill of Rights. The list of restrictions placed on anyone willing to follow the law and give up their God-given rights while bearing arms in the state of New York includes the following. 21-year age requirement, the requirement of being of good moral character, but don't worry, a New York Democrat will determine this for you. Requirement of a drug test notarized by a licensed physician. Requirement of a mental health evaluation notarized by a licensed physician. Not having ever been civilly confined in a secure treatment facility. Not having subnormal intelligence, mental illness, incompetency, incapacity, condition or disease, or lack the mental capacity to contract or manage his or her own affairs. And again, someone approved by the state will determine all this for you. Not having a misdemeanor from driving while intoxicated. You must meet in person with the licensing officer for an interview. The state knows officials and judges are already too busy, and the waiting list will only be another deterrent for this. You must submit names and contact information for the applicant's current spouse, domestic partner, or any other adults residing in the applicant's home. So apparently, privacy is no longer a concern. Names and contact information of no less than 4 character references. So you'll have to get your friends involved now and ask them to share their personal information. A certificate of completion of a training course, and provide a list of former and current social media accounts from the past 3 years. But don't worry, your political affiliation will have nothing to do with their final decision. Successfully complete live firing instruction and a test with at least 90% accuracy. So you probably don't have a problem with this if you're watching this show, but just don't get an 89% on your test. You must show proof of having purchased a safe storage depository. In other words, the state wants to make sure that if you have a gun in your home, it will be inaccessible in the event you or your family might need it to defend your life. You must apply for a hunting license. Whether or not you hunt is irrelevant. They want the fee and the opportunity to create yet another deterrent for you. You must provide fingerprints and physical descriptive data to the issuing officers and New York State Police. But don't worry, a gun registry is just an old wives' tale. They're really focused on getting the bad guys. As if that's not enough, Assembly Bill 8443 has also been introduced. This bill is also known as the New York State Attorney General Firearms Enforcement Act. Includes a new strategy designed to demonize New York gun owners in the eyes of every other state in the country. Now, the bill allows for the investigation and prosecution of any individual seller of firearms or ammunition who knowingly sells an illegal firearm, rapid modification device, or ammunition to a resident of the state of New York without first contacting the New York State Police for authorization to do so. So if an out-of-state gun dealer sells firearms or ammunition to a New York State resident without following New York State's requirements, they will be subject to prosecution by the state of New York. So out-of-state firearm and ammo dealers have a choice. They can either go through all the paperwork and legal requirements that New York State has created, or they can simply deny sale to any New York State residents. Now, you can bet, should this bill become law, gun shops across the country will make it a point to avoid any gun owner from New York. So we're going to talk about this and many other things with, he's the kid who beat you up on the school playground and stuffed you in your locker, Anthony Diso. and he fascinates, captivates, and sometimes aggravates John Chiara.
Did you say sometimes aggravates?
How come? Is this my month for having bad things?
Talk to
happen
the
me?
producer. I don't know what to tell you.
It's got a Black
That was
History
your
Month vibe
tricycle
going.
home.
All right, so all fun and games, but what do you guys think about this stuff?
Well,
Great. That'll stop crime.
Hail Hitler. I mean, Hochul. This state, I gotta move.
She loves you.
I gotta go.
You love her.
So the thing that's really heinous about this whole thing is, so now what happened was, since they implemented this new background check for ammo, right? Gun owners in New York said, fine, forget it. We'll just go to Vermont. We'll go to Pennsylvania, wherever. She got wind of that, so they created this new thing where they're going to sue gun shops in other states. So the message is going to go out that New York gun owners, stay away from them because you're going to get in trouble if you sell them. That's what's going to happen. They're demonizing New York residents is what they're doing. What do you think?
I think Anthony should start a black market ammo shop.
No, I'm good.
I'd buy from him.
I'd buy from him.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous. It's same thing, right? Pass laws that criminals don't follow anyway. What's the difference? Now make it hard for you to buy ammo. Go to Massachusetts and buy pot. Not a problem.
And if people don't know, here in New York with this new ammo background check that goes through the state police, it's been taking up to 9 days for people to get approved to buy a freaking box of ammo. And it's all because they're creating a gun registry. That's all they want. They really just want the information. They want to know your name, what you're buying, so they know what kind of guns you have, and then, of course, your home address where they can find all this stuff if they decide to confiscate it.
Well, they already know what kind of guns we have because it's on the back of our license.
Handguns.
Yeah, they know what you're carrying.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, she's a real...
I just don't know how she thinks that's going to do any good. What does she think?
She doesn't care.
See, this is the problem. We look at these problems and we look at them logically. We say, okay, so like what you're saying right there, John, you're saying, how does she know? How does she think this is going to work? They know it doesn't solve the problem that they claim it's supposed to solve, but it does solve the problem that they really want to solve, and that is unarmed conservatives and Republicans, right?
Who don't shoot anybody.
Who never do.
Never.
But we are their political opposition. So if there should ever be a rising up, God forbid, I'm not advocating for that, but if there ever should be, they want to make sure that it can't happen.
Yep.
Just like the Revolutionary War. I mean, what happened in the Revolutionary War? People got sick and tired of the tyranny. They got tired of it.
Well, we're living it right now.
We're living it right now. So that's why I think they know that. I think Democrats in states like New York and California, Massachusetts, Connecticut, you name it, I think they know that people are really getting pissed and they've had enough. And at some point, you can only push people so far. You're not going to turn America into a communist country. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it can happen.
If people are that stupid to let it happen, then
I think at some point, something will break. And
That's why lawsuits are important at this level, right?
yeah,
but it's just
Except that Hochul
it's just
just
pissing
ignores
taxpayer
Ignore it.
money
anyway.
away, though. It's just pissing taxpayer money away.
well, that too.
It's like she has her own personal piggy bank. It's like, oh, I'm just going to use $10, $20 million to fight these lawsuits because it's not my money. It's the people that elected me, you morons.
God, I can't believe it. The liberals, the Democrats here in New York State can't see what's
stupid.
going on. They are stupid. They don't. They just keep voting for the same garbage.
Then they got the balls to complain about the migrants.
Yeah. Well, then they move down to Florida,
Yeah.
where it's free,
Yeah.
and they leave the crap here in New York.
But then they're infiltrating a red state
Yeah.
like California.
And then they keep voting like idiots.
Yeah.
Biden, yay, Biden,
Yay, he's the best.
yay, Biden.
Change your diaper, old man. You smell like poop.
But yeah, so it doesn't solve the problem.
No.
It works to disarm the lawful American gun
And the
owner.
liberals are so stupid, they don't even see what she's doing.
Well, this is the whole
Yeah.
false premise problem, right? Thinking that you're going to pass a law and you're going to stop crime by passing a law. It never
That's the
works.
dumbest thing
I mean,
ever.
obviously, you want to have deterrence out there. So, a criminal that's got half a brain isn't going to go steal $999 worth of stuff out of a store and think he's going to get away with it. You know what I mean? But for the people that are already over the edge and they're already going to go out and try to shoot people, they're not paying any attention to those laws.
Well, that's the thing. I always say that. Like, do you liberals who are actually supporting these gun restrictions, do you actually think that someone who is willing to kill in cold blood
Cares about your law.
is going to follow a gun-free zone law or going to follow a magazine capacities?
Exactly. Well,
Wow.
this is another
What's
thing
that law I got to follow? Oh, none of them.
Only 10 rounds of your magazine. Oh, I got 11 here. I
got
better
a Tech
take
9 that holds 31.
One in my pocket.
right. I better take one out.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that Scott Adams has been harping on the last couple of weeks hard, is that if you just examine the way the different parties look at things, Democrats have no way of predicting how whatever they think is a good idea is going to turn out. They can't run the scenario out to the end. This has been the problem forever, though, right? With all these left-wing programs from way back, back to Lyndon Johnson and stuff. Let's do this. We'll give away all this stuff, and that'll fix all the problems. Obviously, it hasn't fixed all the problems. I mean, not that you don't want to take care of people along the way, but things like this are just, what's the upside of a stupid gun law that nobody's going to follow anyway? It's just going to infringe on the rights of all the people that are already obeying the law, going along. It's tyranny, right?
Well, and that's the idea, really. I think we have to get ourselves out of the mindset. We're always racking our brains saying, well, how does this help? This doesn't help. They don't understand. It doesn't help. It doesn't solve the problem. They don't want to solve the problem. That's not what these gun laws are about. And I think if gun owners started getting smart to that, because I hear gun owners all the time, my fellow friends, my gun owners are saying, this doesn't stop anything. This doesn't stop the bad guy. It's not supposed to. It's not supposed. These gun laws are not supposed to stop the bad guys. These gun laws are for you. They're for us.
Control.
It's control. Yeah. It's control of their political opposition, and we have to start understanding that because that's what the real problem is.
Well, and it's manifested itself now even further by stuff that they're doing to Trump. Let's misuse the legal system to try to influence our political system. That's never supposed to be that way. That was never that's not part of the model. That's not how things work. But again, half the country's like, doesn't matter, as long as we get what we want. By any means necessary, right? That's the motto in all these ways.
And I think out of all the people, the Democrats who support these gun control laws, I think it's a 50-50 split. Let's just say it's a 50-50 split. Half of them actually believe that more gun control laws are going to stop crime. They actually believe it. They just don't understand. They don't have the correct information.
Just like gun-free school zone signs. They stop you. Oh, boop. Force field, can't go in there.
But some of them are so ignorant to the truth and to the actual laws and to the facts that they actually believe it. So I would say that there's a portion of Democrats voting for this stuff because they truly believe it's going to keep them safer. But then there's another half of the Democrats who know. They're smarter. They know that these laws do nothing to stop the bad guys, but they like them because they control conservatives, their political opposition, or because they're just so angry and pissed off that they want to make sure that they've given up their freedom already, Democrats, and they want to make sure that you don't have it either. That's my take.
Misery, love, company.
And if you are in a state that has gun control laws, like New York State has the stupid SAFE Act, where your AR-15 is illegal, this device, the Cali key, I'll get it over here so people can see it here. This is the Cali key. Now this is attached to the bolt. This is attached to the bolt carrier group. But this is your Cali key, and what this device does, it removes your AR from the definition of assault weapon. When they create these so-called assault weapon lists, they exclude manually operated bolt action firearms. So just by dropping this Cali key into your direct impingement AR and placing your semi-automatic BCG, you will have a bolt action rifle that falls outside the definition of so-called assault weapon. You don't need to do anything else. So give the Cali key a look because you could retain all your rifle's features, avoid registration complications, revive your black rifle sales, if you're an FFL, regain the ability to do private party transfers, legally transport across hostile jurisdictions, hunt with your AR in areas like Pennsylvania, enhance long-range precision and quiet or suppressed shooting. Cali Key has state-specific expert attorney opinions on its website and supports grassroots Second Amendment organizations like Gun Owners of America, for instance, with its sales. Cali Key's mission to empower customers and claw back our civil liberties. So go to CaliKey.com, use the discount code LOADED. CaliKey.com, use the discount code LOADED. All right, let's move on. I think it's time for a Woke Patrol.
Woke Patrol.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
So, in this new world of feminist wokeism, it would seem the most disgusting of the female gender are making delusional demands in the men they're willing to date. In this case, well, I don't even know how to explain it. You'll see. Watch this.
You guys to know, there's no way that I'm gonna date a man that makes under $200K a year. That don't even make no sense. I'm not trying to struggle. I can struggle by myself, okay? Why would I want to struggle with a man?
Well, she's a cutie.
So if you're not making $200K, you can't date me.
Are you
You
crazy?
trying to date me? I only date millionaires, baby. Like, you better
I
get it
wouldn't
right.
even take you out to dinner.
Too many times you had it wrong. Don't be in my inbox.
Inbox.
Working where? Where you work?
Where do you work?
That's
She
the
says.
only
Letterbox.
question I got. Where you work?
Where do you work?
Then
You
I
got to
can
make
decide.
$200,000 a year to date her. So,
Wait a minute.
So-
But first of all, who was going to date that?
hey, for $200,000, you get the cross-eye and everything. You
It's
get the whole-
just like
listen.
Peter Falk in that clip with the glass eye floating around.
Mrs. Potato Head over there, where she falls apart when she gets out of bed.
anyway.
One eye was like
Oh, yeah. No.
20 inches away from the other one.
Don't even think about dating her, Anthony. Unless
$200,000.
you make $200,000 a year,
Listen,
that's the minimum.
I'm making 200,000. She ain't looking like that.
All right, moving on. Do you remember when the Democrats thought releasing President Trump's taxes were a sure way to defeat him? Well, they were able to convince a very stupid person at the IRS to do their dirty work. And he is now
On his way
in
to-
serious trouble. And but I doubt that the slimy Democrats are ever going to come to his rescue.
Oh, no.
But so here is this is from the Washington Examiner. We were just talking about the Washington Examiner a minute ago. Leaker of Trump's taxes will be sentenced amid criticisms of weak prosecution. Charles Littlejohn, who admitted to carrying out an elaborate scheme to disclose former President Donald Trump's tax returns illegally, is set to be sentenced Monday in the District Court of Washington, D.C. Littlejohn faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in jail after he pleaded guilty in October to a single charge, unauthorized disclosure of tax returns. What are you guys' thoughts?
Wait a minute. You mean
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Wait a minute. A Democrat got busted for something? He's going to get time?
This is crazy.
Oh,
This
Little
is
John.
what I think is going on.
Little John must be a little special. They probably said, hey, Little John, can you send this file?
But John thinks he's got something here.
After watching 60 Minutes last night.
Oh, shit, liberal
theory,
John.
Oh, my theory is no, but dude, all the border stuff was like anti-Biden almost, right? It was almost like this is not right. This shouldn't be happening this way. I think that the DNC is planning through the media to start seeping in these little anti-Joe things along the way.
Yeah.
So by the time it comes to replace him as the candidate, there's already his approval rating's already down in the toilet anyway. But I think that they're seeding all these things, and not exactly the same thing, but that's what it made me think of. Right? They're ready to get rid of them.
But why do they have Obama come out and endorse him, though? That's
His theory would be so that Big Mike could come in and take over. But I guess
Big Mike will never get. She's not
not gonna do it.
qualified.
No, she's not
She's
gonna
not qualified. What does she? What does she know about running anything?
she could be VP for Kamala.
She'd even have kids.
Well, the former IRS contractor told prosecutors that he carried out a plot that involved carefully working around IRS protocols to access Trump's returns and the returns of thousands of other wealthy people, according to court filings. Little John said he then leaked the returns to the New York Times and ProPublica. So there you have it. It's basically all we need to know. The guy, but thankfully he's getting he looks like he's getting held accountable.
But it didn't prove anything. It just proved that the rich people take advantage of the crooked taxes that the Democrats and Republicans do. He basically exposed how they take Hillary. Hillary does it.
Yeah.
Everybody does.
They all do it.
Trump announced it. He said, "Yeah, I take
Said it
advantage
right
of
on
all
the
the time."
stage.
Why would you not?
Why would you not?
Exactly.
I don't make the rules.
You show me one Democrat who's bitching and complaining about Trump. You show me one of them who's actually paying more into taxes. You know, they say raise the taxes, raise taxes on. Okay, why don't you just make an extra donation to your government? They won't do it.
Right.
They won't do it. But they want you to do it.
Should go through and see what kind of the taxes look like for all those rich Congress people who go
Who
in
make
poor
millions
and come
a
out
year.
rich.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's all ridiculous. But
All right, so shining the spotlight on the so-called humanitarians and the culprits behind the southern border invasion. We go behind the scenes. Thanks to our friends at Real America's Voice, we go behind the scenes of Joe's border disaster. Check this out.
See a little Red Cross in there.
Yep.
Look at this crap. Piles and piles and piles of clothes and blankets and shoes and backpacks, ramen.
Ramen.
I want to see where lice lives.
Even a cat. Charities.
There you go. The culprit behind all of this. Well, Red Cross not helping American citizens that need help now. Just aiding and abetting the invasion. I'm back out here where we broke the story where No More Deaths had come out here and set up this camp aiding and abetting illegal aliens. Last time I was here, there were 12 men from Egypt sitting right over here. Weren't very happy when I started filming them. Now this entire camp has been basically abandoned because some bad weather came in, but they left all of their crap. These are the same people that claim to care about the environment. Look at this absolute disaster. Look at this. The whole area here, protected wilderness, and this is what they do to it right here. This is what No More Deaths and all of these so-called humanitarians do to it. And they just leave all of this crap for the illegals. Look at this.
all the
Stockpiles
supplies.
of supplies just left out here for the illegal invaders that are coming right through that gap in the wall. This is directly aiding and abetting. And this is the same location where Josh and Joe were just a few days ago, where there was a known terrorist from Azerbaijan. This group is directly aiding and abetting enemies of this nation. And while all of this is happening, just like I witnessed driving out here on the I-10, you've got group after group after group of the ones that don't want to get caught. So you have all these guys coming through, even terrorists from Azerbaijan coming through places like this, turning themselves in, requesting fake asylum, Border Patrol using all of its resources to deal with this, and then you've got the cartel sending the other guys that don't want to get caught, and you've got no Border Patrol to stop them. You're reliant on the law enforcement in the communities north of the border to deal with it. That's what Joe Biden and these Democrat policies do. All of this at America's expense. These guys are traitors to our country. They are traitors to our country.
What do you think? What do you think of old Joe?
I think I could use some of that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good supplies there.
Yeah. Crunchy granola bar.
I wouldn't want to sleep with those infested blankets, but whatever.
Got a kitty there to keep it.
Did you see the cat? Anyway, I just thought it was important to at least give a view.
Where is this exactly?
Southern
Exactly. I don't know.
I mean, is it not in Texas where they're
It's not
sending
right.
all the troops down
It's
there?
probably
and stuff?
California.
It's in the pathway. See, there's a whole coming up from wherever they're
There's
coming
holes
up.
everywhere.
There's there's these camps and everything. So I'm exactly where that is. I don't know.
Well, that's what the thing was last night on 60 Minutes about the Chinese coming in. There's a known hole in the fence, and when they get in there, they give them a cell phone app, and it tells them how to get from Ecuador all the way to that hole in the fence.
Yeah.
To the fence.
Yeah.
Insane.
Unbelievable.
GPS.
GPS.
Take me to the hole in the wall in the U.S.
And they've got
And
better
they won't-
phones than
they
us.
won't fix the hole.
They've got the new iPhone. What is the new one? The 13?
15, 16.
I don't know, 15,
Way
oh,
up
15, yeah, 15, 16, somewhere in there. Anyway. Yeah, so there you go. Now, earlier, I want to get to this before we go to break. Earlier, we talked about New York State implementing background check on ammunition and threatening retailers in other states with prosecution if they sell ammo to New York residents. There's good news, and we've told you briefly about this before we started the show. California just got shut down for doing exactly that. So, in California, U.S. District Court Judge Roger T. Benitez has once again made headlines in California by permanently enjoining the state of California's enforcement of the state's ammunition sales background check provision found in the state penal code, handing another victory to Second Amendment advocates. This article, by the way, is in Ammo Land from my friend Dave Workman. The case known as Road versus Bonta. Plaintiffs in the case are California Rifle and Pistol Association, several firearms retailers, 7 private citizens, including Olympic gold medalist Kim Rode, for whom the case is named. In a statement, California Rifle Pistol Association President and General Counsel Chuck Michael noted today's ruling represents continued affirmation that the Bruin decision and Heller before that represent a sea change in the way courts must look at these absurdly restrictive laws. So in other words, what he's saying is, because of the Bruin case, we had gun laws must meet historical tradition. No way to hear this. So gun laws now have to meet historical tradition. California tries passing this ammo background check, and they say, no, it doesn't meet historical tradition. So what does California do? They come in with as their defense, and they say, well, wait a minute. Back then, we had laws against blacks and Native Americans that prevented them from buying firearms and ammunition. That was their defense. They're using a racist law from way back when to try to bolster this new ammo background check in California.
Which makes no sense.
Right.
What's racism have to do with bullets?
The only thing they had was this old stupid racist law. That's the only way they could defend their new law. And
So
and
maybe that'll keep
But black,
gang members from being able to buy ammo.
I don't know.
black and Indian people can go buy ammo. So how stupid are they?
Yeah. Well, they're trying.
Are we telling them they can't buy ammo?
Well, now they're saying it's because before, back in history, when they couldn't, we should bring that back. Is basically what they're saying.
Can someone just nuke this country? I mean, listen,
a little napalm
just drop
placed here and
just
there.
drop the bomb. Seriously, we
Drop
are
it, just
we are a stupid civilization.
Okay, we're getting to wrap up here. I just want to say the judge ordered California Attorney General to provide forthwith by personal service or otherwise actual notice of the order to all law enforcement personnel who are responsible for implementing or enforcing the enjoined statute. So basically saying to law enforcement, you cannot enforce this. Good news. We'll be right back with a ton more. Don't go away.
The Cali Key removes your AR from the definition of an assault weapon. It lets you keep your rifle with all its features, avoid registration hassles, and transport in hostile jurisdictions. The Cali Key also lets you hunt in jurisdictions like Pennsylvania and enhances long-range precision shooting. Cali Key's expert legal opinions empower informed decisions, and sales help grassroots Second Amendment organizations. Cali Key is your tool to keep and equip your AR, empower yourself, and defend your civil rights.
The media and politicians create terms like gun violence and ghost gun and assault weapon to change the narrative around guns in America. The entire anti-gun fear campaign is built on the reactive emotions of people who don't know any better. And the media seeks their support for gun restrictions. In Good Gun, Bad Guy, I give you the behind-the-scenes look into the mind of the anti-gun radical, because before we can defeat them, we need to understand their tactics. Good Gun, Bad Guy 2 exposes the media strategies used to create a perpetual state of irrational gun fear and hatred toward gun owners. Good Gun, Bad Guy 3 reveals the political motives behind the gun grab, why the left wants an unarmed population, and what we can do to thwart their efforts. The anti-Second Amendment radicals started this evil game. Good Gun, Bad Guy is the rule book they hoped you would never see. Go to goodgunbadguy.com to get your copy or purchase the entire series. All right, we're back, and we have segments called Woke Patrol, Knuckle Sandwich, and some fun things. I think we should have a new segment called Skank of the Week. We haven't actually.
She's right here.
We haven't officially set it up, but did you guys hear about the radical leftist communist squad member Cori Bush stealing campaign funds?
Yeah.
So she's under investigation, as all Democrats should be, because they can't be trusted. But she is obviously a thief. She's a Democrat, so what do you expect? Let me just go into a little bit before we show. You might want to pull up one of those photos of her so everybody knows who she is.
Oh, there she is, supporting another crooked organization.
She campaign payments she made to her husband, which have thrust her into the Justice Department crosshairs, continued as recently as December. The Bush campaign compensated Merritt's, which is her husband, an additional $17,500 across 7 different payments for wages. The total amount, basically, the money comes. The new money comes on top of the roughly 105,000 disbursements she made to her husband, Merritt's, who doled out by the Bush campaign over the past 2 years, bringing the grand total $122,710. This is from our friends over at the New York Post. And so the totals, as of December 31st, Bush's campaign had about $215,571 on hand. So it looks like out of $215,000, she gave $122,000 to her husband through payments. Bush 47 has been an outspoken proponent of the so-called defund the police movement, while defending her campaign, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on private security for herself. So defund the police, except for her. On Tuesday, Bush confirmed that the DOJ is reviewing my campaign spending on security services. The revelation came after the House Sergeant at Arms sent a notice informing Congress that it had received a federal subpoena. Over the last 2 years, Bush's payments to Merritt's, whom she married in February 23, were typically listed as security services. So I guess she's using her husband for security.
What the hell does he know about security?
Who knows? Or wage expense. So with a few smaller reimbursements for miscellaneous items such as gas and stuff like that. So there you have it. So another Democrat. You got another picture of her? She's a beauty, isn't she? What's that? Where's that second picture of her? She is a lovely
Medusa.
Lovely. Boy, she's a pretty one, huh?
She's a predator. Look at her.
Boy, how'd you like to wake up to that? Put that picture back up there. Anthony, how would you like to wake up to that every day?
Absolutely not.
Kind of looks like an angry Tracy Chapman.
Oh, God. But isn't it?
See what happens when you watch the Grammys?
Oh,
She was great last night. That whole thing with Luke Combs, that was good.
you know, I hear that song, Luke Combs' version of that song, and I never liked the song to begin with, to tell you the truth. But
I know, but the presentation last night was good.
was it?
Yeah.
Good. I didn't watch it. But anyway, so just another Democrat stealing campaign money, giving it to their.
Now, do other Democrats deny that that's the case? Because it's not. It's just numbers, right?
Yeah, just
numbers.
Just
It's
numbers.
not like it's an argument.
Do they deny what exactly?
Deny that she did it, or that she shouldn't be doing it, or what's the perspective?
Bush insisted this week that she retained her husband as part of her security team to provide security services because he has had an extensive experience in this area and is able to provide the necessary services at or below fair market value. So she's holding strong that this $122,000 she gave to her husband for security out of her campaign funds. It's illegal. You can't. You know she's getting the money back from him, right? Just like the other one. Who's the other one who just did that?
Going in the kitty.
Taking her on vacation. Fanny. What is it with these Democrats?
Because they can get away with it.
Yeah, they do. You're right. They get away with it.
We know how federal subpoenas work. Look at Dirtbag Hunter.
You got that video? I think we have a video clip of her, too.
Oh.
Cori Bush of Missouri is now under federal investigation
can't
for
believe it.
misusing federal security money. Bush has spent more than $750,000 on private security since she was elected in 2020. Now, remember, these are the same people who defunded the police, but then had to have private security. A watchdog has also demanded that the Federal Election Committee investigate $62,000 of that money that Bush paid to her now husband. He was her boyfriend back then. She hired him to be a security guard from her campaign account. You may remember Congresswoman Bush, one of the big proponents of defunding the police in 2020. I mention it again because look how much she spent to make sure she certainly didn't defund her protection.
So she probably could have avoided it by not marrying the guy, right? If he was already hired to do security and was already her boyfriend, she should have just left it alone.
Maybe. Yeah. But
Not that it makes it right.
But even if it was her boyfriend, just like Fannie was doing.
Him, her husband, millions.
And then he's just in turn spending it back on her, taking her out on lavish vacations and stuff like that. So it was a total of $750, according to Fox News. Insane. All right, Anthony, you had something you wanted to hit on.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got?
John's favorite.
Mine?
Yeah. The migrants.
I love me some migrants.
So in our esteemed New York City, our district of New York City.
Oh, Eric Adams?
Eric Adams.
Oh, yeah,
All
the best
right.
guy in the world.
What's going on with old Eric?
So about a week ago, two New York City police officers were jumped in Times Square by 5 illegals. I'm not going to call them migrants because they're not migrants.
They're illegal
illegals.
trespassers.
Jumped them, beat them, kicked them in the face, get arrested. Where do you think they are, John?
They got let go.
Right. Out on that, what do they call that? That bail, that whole no cashless bail. Yeah. So people who aren't legally here walked out of our jail system and now are gone.
You beat up a cop, see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I get shot. Yep. In the streets and their cameras are watching, we're giving everybody the finger. This is where we're at.
Well, you would think that he'd be getting pushback from the citizens of that city, though. The business owners down there got to be out of their freaking minds.
They got to.
They are getting pushback, but you're not seeing it because the liberal dirtbag news isn't showing it.
Right.
Like the cops just had a protest. Did you hear about it?
No.
They went around the city and were protesting the release of them. Like there had to be 600-700 police cars.
Wow.
There's 34,000 police officers in New York City.
Yep, never heard of it.
Never heard of it. The PBA office, the PBA head got on there and said, unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now they're saying that you can't prosecute migrants because they're a sanctuary city. So basically,
they can do whatever the hell they want.
They can kill you, and you can only hold them for 48 hours and they're out on the street.
They can kill me, and I can't even go buy bullets.
Nope.
Right. Exactly.
They have more protection than us.
This stuff's gonna change. It's got to change. It's gonna change.
Whatever happened to New York City when the mob ran it? Because let me tell you something. If the migrants were here when the mob was running it, let me tell you something.
Maybe in the river.
There wouldn't be any migrants in New York City.
Yeah, they'd be sleeping with the fishes.
The East River was so full of like bodies.
They'd be sleeping with the fishes.
The
in the
mob
river.
would take care of everything.
The Red Cross could supply like those little floaty things with heads on them, like Beanie and Cecil.
Little seahorse with a little guy floating down the river.
The swimmies.
Exactly.
You whip each other.
Little arms, little
you see him out there.
Water wings on their things.
It's like when what's his name from Seinfeld was swimming in the East River in a body.
Kramer.
Yeah, Kramer. This mattress stinks. I was swimming in the East River. Yeah, so this is where we're at, America. Are you waking up yet? I mean, how stupid are New York City people? Did you see the parks that are filled with them? I think it's East Village. It's Tent City. They're everywhere.
I hope they enjoy living in this hell that they created. I don't feel sorry for them at all.
But we should literally go down to the city and interview normal people and say, do you think this is okay?
All the normal people have left.
That's true. That's why he was never going to be arrested again.
All right, let's change a little bit. Do you guys know who Carl Jung is? Carl Jung, what is it?
J-U-N-G. Yeah, Jung.
Yeah, Jung. It's spelled J-U-N-G, right. He was a Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst who founded analytical psychology. He was a prolific author, illustrator, and correspondent. He also he talked a lot about projection is where I'm going with this. Also, Sigmund Freud actually coined the term projection. In this next clip, because we hear projection all the time. Although you're projecting, that's a projection of what you're thinking. In this next clip, we have a perfect example of how the political left can't recognize that their constant hatred for Trump and anything that doesn't fall within their political, sphere is really just a hatred for that which they despise about themselves. Check this out.
When you hear guys like Keith Olbermann, when you're pissed off at Donald Trump, I still pissed off at Donald Trump. And why? He can't even tell you why. I'll tell you why. If you read Jungian psychology, he hates him because he hates that part of himself that he projects onto Donald Trump. That's why he hates him, and that's why he can't tell you why he hates him, because he would actually have to turn inward and look inside himself and realize that what he really hates is the part of himself that he thinks is like Donald Trump. That's what this is all about. That's when you hear Cenk Uygur screaming and foaming at the mouth, when you hear guys like Keith Olbermann, when you hear people like this, that's exactly what this is. Every time this guy gets an award, he says, "Fuck Donald Trump." Every time he gets an award, he can't stop talking about Donald Trump, even though Donald Trump hasn't been president for 3 years. And when you ask him, what did he do that's so bad, he can't even tell you. But
what are your thoughts? So what he's saying is that they hate what they hate about themselves, and they project their own thoughts onto the rest of the world. And Donald Trump has been a target, obviously, of that. And I just figured, I thought that clip was great, so I wanted to add it in the show because we've talked about projection before.
Right. Well, that's the whole. I mean, that's a big part of the Democratic platform, it seems now, and many people have been talking about this for years, is that just accuse other people of exactly what it is that you're doing.
Right.
And if that's a plan and you have a way to explain that, that's one thing. But as he said, nobody can even explain it because they didn't even know they're doing it.
So TDS is real.
TDS, whatever, any kind
Trump
of whatever.
derangement syndrome is real.
Yeah, but that's a good point. They don't even know they're doing it. See, a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, well, that person's a jerk because they think this and they think that. I don't know. They think.
You don't know what they think.
Right. You don't know what they think, right? So, but people are convinced that they know what the other person is thinking.
Because that's how they would think if they were in that situation. If they were doing that, that's how they would have to think. Therefore, they just assume, make the jump to the false premise that that's what's going on over here, and then they run with that. That's why we're making policy. That's why these stupid laws come about. Like we said, they can't ever take the process out to the logical end and say, this is going to be the result. They just want to do what feels good right now because it's all about protecting their own rightness.
That was a great explanation. You nailed it.
They don't
exactly.
think logically. They just
well,
think.
It's hard, but I mean, as human beings, we're not used to looking at ourselves and saying, well, what if I'm wrong?
That's like voting for a president isn't about voting about your hurt feelings or this. It's about what they can do to make the country better.
Oh, well, that whole thing.
So did Joe Biden make the country better? The libtards actually think so. They actually think that we have a good economy right now. They do.
Well, that was on 60 Minutes last night, too. The head of the Fed was on talking about inflation and this and that and everything else. And when we were watching it, and then he admitted it finally. He goes, well, none of that means that prices are going to go down.
No, nothing ever goes
They've already
down.
been elevated. They're not going to go back. Right. Nothing ever goes back.
Nothing ever goes back.
Well, I mean, speaking of crazy left wing, because that's what we always talk about here on the show.
Yeah, let's get him.
Get him, Mikey.
The push to get everyone into an electric vehicle is starting to backfire on the climate alarmists. And we have a video here, I think it's from Fox News, explaining what's actually happening with electric vehicle sales. Check this out.
At a car dealership in New Jersey. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Dana. Good morning. Well, we are at a Lexus car dealership in Whippany, New Jersey. There are about 100 electric vehicles on the lot here, according to the owner, Thomas Maioli. Like these two vehicles here, they're on the lot for an average of 12 months because they simply cannot sell them. Him and about 3,000 other auto dealership owners sent a letter to President Biden this morning urging him to stop his push for electric vehicles. The letter reading in part, Mr. President, it is time to tap the brakes on the unrealistic government electric vehicle mandate. Electric vehicle demand today is not keeping up with the large influx of electric vehicles arriving at our dealerships prompted by the current regulations. EVs are stacking up on our lots. Car dealers are urging Biden to stop the proposed new EPA rule that will require about 67% or 2/3 of all new car sales to be electric by 2032. But the owner here says customers just aren't buying it.
You're talking about, a 30% cost increase over a gas vehicle. You're talking about having to build infrastructure in your house. You have to put a charger in your house and be able to charge that vehicle. The availability and infrastructure out in the marketplace is a concern because there's not enough chargers out there. It takes 30 minutes to charge your car.
This $67,000 car is being sold at a $22,000 discount, and still they can't sell it. Dana?
Well, maybe they could go plug it into their electric oven.
Ford is the worst, man. Ford's got cars piled up all over the place that they can't sell. And the dealers are saying, just don't sell us any more cars.
They said the other day, and I don't blame Elon Musk because, he's just a rich, he's got rich off of it. He really did.
Well, and he's trying to go with where technology would probably go. Right. I mean, in the future, it will probably go there.
I don't think electric is ever going to work, though.
For
maybe
for
cars,
small stuff,
small stuff. But then they want to build an electric plane.
The problem, like he stated, the infrastructure's not there.
Yep.
I mean, first stories we hear last week with the cold weather, where the
chargers
are outside in the cold.
Our grids can't even handle our air conditioners on in the summer.
No.
I would go to my in-laws in Florida. We'd visit, and they had a golf cart at their house.
Right.
And they would plug it in when they're not using it, and they'd use that golf cart to go around the community.
Right.
Go to the pool, go to the gym and all this stuff.
Traveling across country for that. Stupid.
Yeah, but exactly. But when you're if you live in the suburbs and you got a garage and you got a charger and you're just going to the grocery store, going short trip, it's fine.
Remember when we were going to Virginia, we saw all the stupid morons in their Teslas all lined up waiting for their car to charge, and they're sitting there, letting their dog go to the bathroom, walking around with their stupid pajamas on.
Going in and getting the wrong order delivered at McDonald's.
You're a moron.
It's so stupid.
But they want to build an electric plane. Which one of you clowns
is going to
get on an electric plane and think that thing's going to land fine? Listen,
I'd be like, no, thanks.
I want every Democrat on that plane because I'm telling you right now, it ain't landing.
Well, not only that, Democrats are starting to realize that their party has gone off the deep end. I think this is just the electric cars is just one aspect of it, border and everything else, abortion, whatever the Democrat policies are. So the Democrats left wingers are starting to realize it. And I'm going to show you this clip of Joe Rogan.
I don't believe it.
Who, I don't know. I don't know how far left Joe ever was, but he claims that he was. And just watch this clip. It'll give you a good example of how some of the logical Democrats, if there are any left, how they're actually thinking now.
These blue bubbles where everyone's gone insane. Well, I used to be a part of the blue bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative, but at the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone full communist. It's out of its mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. San Francisco, most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores. Because
I wouldn't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's crazy.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you can bring it back. The structure's still there. But
Yeah,
you'd have
yeah.
to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
And nobody wants that.
You
Nobody
know-
wants that. They're peace, love, and granola and wear a mask.
Peace,
These
love, and
blue
granola,
bubble-
and wear a mask. But he mentioned Rudy Giuliani. Isn't that interesting? How a Democrat, former Democrat, whatever Joe is right now, I don't know. I like Joe. I think he's great. But notice how he mentioned Rudy Giuliani.
Because he cleaned up New York when it needed to be cleaned up.
fixed
That's
it.
all. Love him,
Yeah.
hate him, whatever.
Yeah.
Again, Democrats' inability to carry something out and see the actual results that are going to happen in the real world. All this stuff is just, oh, this is a good idea, this is a good idea. And then when it all falls apart, I don't see anybody taking responsibility for that.
They don't.
All the stores that are closing, how many stores have closed?
Target's moving out of cities.
Big time.
Yeah.
Did you see the interview with DeSantis and Gruesome Newsom about how Newsom's father-in-law moved to Florida and talked to DeSantis and said, man, you run this state like it's no business. He goes, I came here, I got low gas, I got low taxes, I got no crime. He goes, boy, that California, this is his son-in-law. And Newsom just sitting there with his psycho, mentally ill face going, ooh, like, I don't think he understands what he's doing to California, or if he's just mentally insane.
Either that, or they're getting paid so much. These Democrat governors are getting paid so much from the globalists or George Soros or whoever that they know that they're getting so much damn money after they do all this damage that their future generations are going to be well taken care of. That's how rich I think they're going to be. We'll never know it. Either that or they're just really stupid. And I don't think they're that stupid. I don't think. How can they be?
Kathy Hochul's stupid.
Oh, you're right. You might be
She's
right about
stupid.
Hochul. She's not the.
But they were saying there were some people that were voting in California said there were millions of like ballots against him, and he still won.
Yeah, well, figure that one out.
And why?
Yeah, Democrats don't cheat in elections? Give me a break.
Have you seen some of the streets in California? They show videos of it.
I've seen it.
They
We
showed a
showed it
video
on
the other
the
day. I
show.
looked at it and I thought it was a third world country.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
What are the people in California? I don't know.
They're creating government dependency too, and that's another thing. They want as many people dependent on the government. That's why you're seeing all the homelessness and the poverty and stuff. So, because without government dependency, Democrats would never get reelected. So this next clip is a perfect example of the modern day slavery perpetuated by the political left and how it is a generational problem, and how they teach people to be slaves to the welfare system. Check this out.
With 8th grade girls, and I asked them to tell me what their goals were. This one particular young lady said that she wanted to have 2 kids. So I said, so are you going to have a husband? And she said, nope. And I said, please tell me why you would choose in the 8th grade to have a goal of having 2 kids and not be married. She said, because if I'm married to him, I can't collect child support. And then she said, why should I marry a man that I have kids by? He might have issues or something. He might be on drugs. And I said, well, if he's too bad to be your husband, do you really think he's going to make a better father? With 8th grade girls.
So she's willing to, the 8th grade girl is willing to have a kid or 2 and not have a husband because she knows that the government's going to pay her money. This is slavery. This is welfare dependency. What do you think?
Where do you think she learned that from? Her mom.
Her mom.
Her mom probably has 4 kids. She's collecting $10,000 every year.
Who's going to marry an 8th grader?
Oh, God. Well,
there
was an island. Stop. There used to be an island.
Who's going to marry an 8th? But you're right. And I think even before that, when did welfare start? Do we know when welfare started?
Well, the Great Society.
It was around when I was a kid. So,
Danny, can you look into that? When did welfare start real quick? Because I think we're talking about
in the 70s. It was in the 70s.
50 years.
We're talking probably about 3 generations now, right?
Yeah.
1935, he says.
Well,
Great
Roosevelt.
Depression. Yeah.
Depression, right.
Okay, part of the New Deal, he says.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got multiple generations now, 3, 4 generations. How many generations is 35?
100 years, 90 years ago. At least 3, 4 generations.
3 or 4 generations deep now of welfare. The kids now growing up in the welfare system, not only don't understand how to start their own business or how to be productive in life, they're conditioned to be on the welfare system because their parents, their grandparents, and great-grandparents did.
Another example of not understanding how the system is going to play out down the line. Oh, this will help everybody. Okay, but 4 generations down the road, we need to do something to intervene. Like we could have,
But there's a certain political party who wants it because they know that the more people they can keep dependent on government, the more voters they'll have.
Yeah. That's why That's why I said New York City will never vote Republican because Republicans take your stuff away.
Republicans take themselves away. They leave. But now isn't there some kind of a new 11-year plan for the citizenry? I just saw this morning somewhere that somebody was proposing for all these illegal people.
What's this?
Some fast track plan.
Oh,
for
yes.
citizenship or something.
This is the new bill. So, and I don't know all the details, so I got to be careful here. But the new bill basically says that within 5 years now they will be
What the heck?
citizens.
Well, the guy in 60 Minutes who owns the property where the Chinese people are coming along, he's from, where is he from? Yugoslavia?
Yeah, he came here legally.
He came here legally. He goes, I waited for like 6 months over in Europe or years before I could even come here. They wouldn't even let me come to the country, not walk across the border.
Look, Democrats know that their policies suck, and it's not good for the country. The only way they can win elections is either cheat, keep people on welfare dependency, or do what they're doing with the border right now, an influx, an invasion of people, so they can change the voting map, so they can have more elected officials.
I read something that 58% of women will still vote for Biden. No offense, you're stupid.
Because they don't. Those are people who aren't watching. Whether it's men or women, it's because they're not paying
like Trump. That's why.
Oh, because they don't like Trump.
Because they don't like Trump.
That's a piece of it too.
It's my feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
He's a
He's meanie.
Fastest,
Roe v.
meanie.
Wade did a whole lot about
He grabbed her by the blah blah blah.
The Roe v. Wade thing, yeah. They're both. Oh God! All right, well, guys, good show, but we got to wrap it up. Thanks for watching Loaded Mic on Rumble. You can also catch us on OpsLens and Right America Media, Simul TV, Key Radio Network. You can also find the podcast version on any of your favorite podcast apps, Anchor, Spotify, all those. Remember, the Second Amendment is not a privilege. It's your right.